Adhyatma Upanishad. The Unborn Eternal One resides within this body, in a secret place, whose body is earth, which pervades within the earth, yet the earth does not know it. Whose body is water, which pervades within the water, yet the water does not know it. Whose body is fire, which pervades within the fire, yet the fire does not know it. Whose body is air, which pervades within the air, yet the air does not know it. Whose body is ether, which pervades within the ether, yet the ether does not know it. Whose body is the mind, which pervades within the mind, yet the mind does not know it. Whose intellect is the body, which pervades within the intellect, yet the intellect does not know it. Whose ego is the body, which pervades within the ego, yet the ego does not know it. Whose mind is the body, which pervades within the mind, yet the mind does not know it. Whose unmanifest is the body, which pervades within the unmanifest, yet the unmanifest does not know it. Whose imperishable is the body, which pervades within the imperishable, yet the imperishable does not know it. Whose death is the body, which pervades within death, yet death does not know it. That soul residing within all beings, free from sin, divine, is the one and only Narayana. The feeling of I and mine that arises in the body and others towards the non-self is an ignorance-born superimposition. A wise person should remove it through steadfastness in Brahman. Knowing your own true self, which is the witness of the fluctuations of the intellect, do not consider your soul different from others with the feeling of I am that. Abandon worldly conduct. Renounce attachment to the body, give up external adherence to scriptures, and destroy the superimposition rooted in the soul. The yogi who remains established in the soul has a mind that is destroyed. Know the universal nature of the soul through reasoning, scriptures, and self-experience. Do not give opportunity to forgetfulness of the self through sleep, worldly conversations, and words. Contemplate the soul within the soul. Abandon the body made of flesh and excrement that arises from the parent's body. Discard it like a chandal and attain the state of Brahma consciousness. Just as the space contained in a pot merges into the vast sky, similarly merge your soul into the Supreme Soul with undivided devotion and remain silent. Knowing the soul that is self-luminous and inherently true, renounce this universe and body as if they were vessels of filth. Surrender ego and intellect to the true blissful self of existence, consciousness, bliss. Abandon the sexual body and always remain alone, in which the entire universe appears like a palace reflected in a mirror. Consider that Brahman as I, and be grateful. By renouncing ego, a person attains their true form. They become pure, complete, eternally blissful, and self-illuminated like the moon. The destruction of actions leads to the destruction of worries, and from them, the decay of desires. The complete destruction of desires is liberation, which is called freedom in life. A person who sees only Brahman everywhere and in all places, situated in the feeling of true existence, becomes free from the abode of desires. One should never be negligent in Brahman-centeredness. The Brahman scholars have said that negligence in knowledge is equivalent to death. Just as algae taken out of water cannot stay separated even for a moment, Similarly, Maya covers again the knower who has turned away from Brahman knowledge in an instant. One who has attained liberation, Moksha, while alive, remains only Brahman even after leaving the body. O sinless one! Being established in Samadhi, he attains the state beyond all distinctions. The knot of ignorance in the heart is completely destroyed when, in Samadhi, all distinctions end with the non-dual self-realization. By strengthening one's sense of self, abandoning feelings like I, and remaining indifferent to all objects, a person should observe them neutrally, like a pot and a cloth. All titles from Brahma to a straw are mere imaginations of Maya. Therefore, one should see their complete true self as solely Brahman. Brahma himself, Vishnu himself, Indra himself, and Shiva himself. This entire universe is itself. There is nothing beyond it. When all the illusions imposed upon the self are destroyed, the person himself becomes the supreme Brahman form, complete, non-dual, and free from action. That which appears as this world merely like an imagination is situated only in one true element. That which is immutable, formless, and without qualities, how can there be any distinction in it? In which there is no sense of seer, seeing, or seen, which is free from all faults, which is full like an ocean at the end of imagination, that is only the conscious self, Chidatma, in which the darkness of ignorance is dissolved in the light of knowledge, in that unique, supreme element which is formless and without differentiation. How can there be any conception of difference? That which is situated in the sole nature of the self, how can there be anything that distinguishes it? Just as in deep sleep, Sushupti, only happiness is experienced, who sees any difference there? All these distinctions arise only from the mind, and when the mind is destroyed, nothing remains. Therefore, one should stabilize the mind in the nature of the self through meditation, Samadhi. One who realizes their immutable, blissful nature always experiences the essence of bliss, both within and without. The fruit of detachment is knowledge. The fruit of knowledge is the transcendental state, and the peace attained through the experience of self-bliss is the ultimate fruit of the transcendental state. If one state does not lead to another, the previous state becomes fruitless. Complete renunciation is the supreme fulfillment, and that bliss is naturally unparalleled. The designation of Maya is the cause of the creation of this world, which appears endowed with qualities like omniscience. It is only endowed with indirect knowledge, but is referred to by the term Tat, situated in the true nature. The soul that is illuminated as the basis of our direct experience and words is called the meaning of the term Tvam, you, as a form of consciousness united with the inner self. By renouncing illusion and ignorance and abandoning all titles of the individual soul and the supreme soul, only the indivisible, true consciousness bliss form, the supreme Brahman, manifests. The search for meaning through scriptural statements is called hearing, Shravana. Deeply exploring their meaning through reasoning is called reflection, Manana. Stabilizing the mind in the truth reached through hearing and reflection and fixing it in unity is called meditation, Nididhyasan. Abandoning the meditator and the process of meditation step by step and being established solely in the single object of meditation, just as a flame remains steady without wind. Such a mind is called samadhi. Even at that time, the impressions, vrittis, reside in the soul in known and unknown forms. But after emerging from samadhi, their existence is inferred by the recollection of them. In this beginningless world, the accumulated group of karmas from countless births is destroyed through this samadhi, and pure dharma develops. The great yogis call this samadhi the Dharma Mega Samadhi, which showers dharma and nectar like thousands of streams. Through this samadhi, all desires are completely destroyed, and all karmas in the form of merit and demerit are entirely eradicated. Speech that is free from any kind of obstruction initially imparts Brahma knowledge only indirectly. But ultimately this knowledge is experienced directly, clearly, like the amla fruit kept inside the hand. When desires do not arise, that is the ultimate state of detachment. When the ego does not arise, that is the supreme state of knowledge. One whose mental modifications have ceased and do not arise again is called in a state of complete cessation. Such a steadfast yogi always remains blissful. One whose soul has merged into Brahman, which is free from impurities and inactive, whose Brahman and soul have merged in unity with purity, is considered liberated. That which is only the conscious form of non-dual modification is called wisdom. One in whom this conscious form always abides is called a liberated being. One who has no sense of I in the body and senses, and no sense of this in external objects, is called a liberated being. One who sees no difference between Brahman and its creation, and knows this through wisdom, is called a liberated being. One who remains the same, whether worshipped by the virtuous or tormented by the wicked, is called a liberated soul. One who has realized the essence of Brahman does not return to the world. If he does return, it means he has not attained true knowledge of the Brahman state and remains entangled in external matters. As long as experiences of pleasure and pain occur, the accumulated karma remains, because the manifestation of results depends on past actions. But the soul itself is not engaged in any activity. The knowledge, I am Brahman, destroys the accumulated karma, gathered from countless births of imagination, just as the actions of dreams end after waking. A renunciant who is naturally detached and dispassionate remains established like the sky, and is never affected by any kind of accumulated karma. Just as the sky, despite being associated with the pot, is not affected by the fragrance contained within it. Similarly, the soul is not tainted by the qualities arising from any designation. Even after the dawn of knowledge, the accumulated karma is not destroyed, just as an arrow once released does not return without hitting its target. An arrow released thinking it was aimed at a tiger, even if later it is considered to be aimed at a cow, still pierces the target with its velocity. For one who considers the soul as unborn and immortal, and embraces it as such, there remains no concept of accumulated karma. Accumulated karma is effective only as long as the identification with the body remains. When the body identification is no longer desired, accumulated karma should be considered ended. The very notion of accumulated karma for the body is merely an illusion. That which is superimposed has no real essence. That which is unreal is never born, and that which is unborn is never destroyed. Therefore, how can the unreal have karma? If all actions born of ignorance are completely destroyed along with their root by knowledge, then how does this body continue to exist? The discussion of karma from an external perspective is made in the scriptures to dispel such doubts. However, this is not said to make the wise aware of the reality of the body and so on, but to provide a solution to the ignorant fools who hold an external viewpoint. The perfect, beginningless, infinite, immeasurable, and unchanging self alone is real. It is of the nature of existence, consciousness, eternal, blissful, and indestructible. It is complete, infinite, omnipresent, of the nature of the self, and immutable.
He is neither to be renounced nor to be accepted, without a base, attributeless, inactive, subtle, undecided, and pure. He is indescribable in form, beyond mind and speech, of true nature, self-evident, pure, wise, and established in self-realization. One who, through his own experience, knows his indivisible soul, becomes accomplished and remains established in complete bliss, residing in his nature without distinction.
Where has this world gone? Who has taken it away? Where has it dissolved? Just now I saw it, now it is not here. What a great wonder this is! What is to be renounced? What is to be accepted? What is different? What is special? When everywhere there is only the ocean of the undivided, blissful essence of Brahman, what else is worth seeing? There is nothing worth seeing here, nothing worth hearing, nothing worth knowing. I am only established in my own true nature, always in a blissful form. I am unattached, without desire, without marks, the embodiment of peace, infinite and perfectly eternal. I am not the doer, not the enjoyer, free from defects, indestructible, the embodiment of pure knowledge, only Shiva. This knowledge was received by the sage Apantaratma. He gave it to Brahma. Brahma gave it to the sage Ghor Angirasa. Ghor Angirasa gave it to the sage Raikwa. Raikwa gave it to Lord Rama. And Lord Rama bestowed it upon all beings. This is the teaching of Nirvana. This is the command of the Vedas. This is the teaching of the Vedas. This is the truth of the Upanishads. May the timeless teachings of the Adhyatma Upanishad illuminate your path to self-realization.